Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! The best way to spend your Saturday is by watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube, and I am so honored to be your voice of Descendants and Zombies. What an incredible year it has been. Happy Halloween to everybody. Just last night, everybody trick-or-treating. I must say, this year we didn't have many trick-or-treaters. I remember when I was a kid, going door to door on Halloween, meeting up with your friends at the end of the block, and you'd start at the end of the block, and by the end of the night you would have bags full of treats. And I'm not talking one bag full of treats. Enough treats to put on the top of your parents' luggage rack on their car and take it home with you guys. It was a whole lot of fun years ago trick-or-treating, but it seems to me like everybody is just focusing on Halloween parties, and because of that, there aren't as many trick-or-treaters. I noticed last night we didn't have as many, but it was nice seeing the few trick-or-treaters that we did see just last night, and I hope everybody had a wonderful Halloween. Having said that, I think all the focus is on the Halloween parties, and I remember seeing Freya Sky dressed up as Tinkerbell for this year's Halloween Fest at the Disneyland Resort, and it was just so fun seeing your favorite Descendant stars coming out in their Halloween costumes, being so festive, and just so happy to be a part of the moment. And that's what I love so much about your favorite Descendant stars. It's just how appreciative they are of all the moments they get to spend with each and every one of you. It is a wonderful, wonderful time to be a fan of Disney, in my opinion, because Disney was waiting on a franchise to captivate millions of people, and Descendants did that for them. And I think Disney has recognized that, and that's why Disney is taking full advantage of the opportunity to promote these stars in the way they have been deserving of being promoted for a very long time. And I'm not talking about criticism, because I don't like to criticize anything or anyone, because I believe people like Kylie Cottrell and Freya Sky deserve the utmost of praise, and people should be singing their praises. I say this because they have come a long way in such a short amount of time, because the reality of life is we don't know how much time we have. Time is always and forever elapsing through an hourglass that is invisible to our eyes. So because time is forever and always elapsing through an hourglass, it's all about what we do with the time that we are allocated and how we spend it, and how we spend it with the ones that we love. We surround ourselves with the people that we love, our best friends, our family, because we never know how much time we have. And I think really it's a good thing that we don't know how much time that we have, because if we did know how much time we have in this lifetime, we would be all scared to death. I know I would be scared to death, because I wouldn't know what to do from one moment to the next. I think I would be very appreciative of the time that I had, regardless of how much time I was given. But I think I would be scared to death because, again, we never know how much time we have and what we want to do with that time. So because we don't know, I guess that makes life that much more unpredictable and that much fun to live. I say this because I was always like Meg Donnelly. I was suffering from a fear of death years ago when I was growing up, because necrophobia is an awful thing. It controls your fears and controls your way of life, really. And I felt real sympathetic towards Meg Donnelly when she was being so open and honest about everything she was struggling with, from anxiety to panic attacks to necrophobia, because it's an awful thing to have to live with. I suffered with it up until the age of about 13 years old. Until one day I woke up and I said, you know, you have to live for the moment, and you have to live in that moment, and you have to be appreciative of every single moment that you are given, because you never know how many of these you're going to have. And I think that the Descendant stars have done a fabulous job really promoting that and really making the point that life is so precious, along with how precious time really is. That's the emphasis that the Alice in Wonderland characters and the Cinderella characters have brought to the Descendants franchise. I remember the teasers dropped in the animated special for the Royal Wedding back in 2021. They filmed this thing during the pandemic, and they did a fabulous job. Of course, it was the farewell of all the original Descendants cast. Of course, Sophia Carson, Dove Cameron saying goodbye, setting up for the introduction of Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella characters, which I was really appreciative of, because I think when Disney teases something, they're setting us up for the inevitable and setting us up for something far greater than we could ever imagine, because I think that there's such a history and such a lore with Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella characters, because there's so much of an opportunity to create. So off the introduction of Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella characters into this franchise, I was really excited about it, and I was just excited to be a part of it. I didn't care how it unfolded or what was going to happen. I was just excited to be a part of it. And that's what makes me a fan of this, because I don't believe in any form of criticism being a nice form of criticism, regardless of how people may or may not feel about it. I think there is so much of a history with Alice in Wonderland and Cinderella characters that there is so much of an opportunity to create. And here's the thing about the original Descendants Rise of Red franchise, is that some of these characters, their stories are far from over, and so many of these characters, their stories are far from over. I mean, you take Bridget, for example. I mean, she just kind of showed up, said, "Hi, everyone, my name is Bridget. Let's be sweeter and kinder to everybody." And I think that more people are kinder because of the image that Bridget conveyed. And I don't think anybody could have done it as powerfully as what Ruby did, because I can be honest with each and every one of you for a moment and say that I'm a kinder person because of what Ruby Rose Turner taught me and what she showed me about how far their kindness can go and really take a person in this lifetime. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, moving forward in the Descendants franchise, I don't know if I can do it without Ruby. I honestly don't know if I can do it without Ruby, because Ruby was just one of these genuinely sweet people. You didn't have to know anything about Ruby, you just had to give Ruby a chance. And I think that when people gave her a chance, they realized just how genuinely sweet she was. I mean, very different characters were portrayed by her on Coop and Cammy Ask the World, Ruth, and Fuller House. I get that, but this character, Bridget, was perfectly fitting and perfectly appropriate for Ruby. It was the right character for Ruby to bring to life, to don and really bring to life, because she did just a fabulous job. You cast anybody else as Bridget. You could have cast Ashley Tisdale as Bridget, and even with how fun she was as a Sharpay Evans character for High School Musical, you could have cast Ashley Tisdale, Vanessa Hudgens, Hilary Duff. Nobody would have been able to do it as effectively as what Ruby did. There are these certain characters that are meant to play by certain celebrities, and I think that Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner had never been more appropriately fit into roles and given opportunities, because they really ran with it, and they made dreams seem more realistic for everybody. That's what's so fun about Descendants and Zombies, is that there's so much of an opportunity to create storylines with the right characters, and so much of an opportunity to bring this to life and really believe in it. I think Descendants and Zombies was the first franchise that people really started believing in, and believing in more than perhaps ever before. Because in all honesty, guys, I could be talking about anything this morning on this podcast, but I think that Descendants of Zombies is the way to go and the way to perceive your life, because life really is that much sweeter when we show more kindness to people in lifetimes that deserve it, because we only have one life to live. And I think for every lifetime, there is one best friend that you have. There is one true love that everybody finds and is meant to be with for the rest of their life. And I've tried to encourage that through every video that I've ever uploaded on this YouTube channel, because I've never been more proud to be the host and the voice of a niche that has had such a profound impact on millions of hearts and changed so many lives. I really do believe for the better. Because when you attended the Worlds Collide Tour this summer, I mean, you can't tell me that you didn't feel as if you were part of something special. You were a part of history. And I think that because you were a part of history, your favorite stars didn't deserve to be criticized because of the performance they gave 24 hours after. People were uploading videos on YouTube saying the worst and awful things about them. And that's where my issue lied with all the criticism the Worlds Collide Tour was receiving, because people were choosing to criticize it without even giving it a chance. So if you're criticizing something without even giving it a chance, it defeats the purpose of the tour ever happening. I think that if we're going to criticize the Worlds Collide Tour, then the Worlds Collide Tour shouldn't have never happened. But I think that if we're going to say nice things about the Worlds Collide Tour, the more powerful, like two of the Worlds Collide Tour heading overseas in parts of the UK, Australia, Germany, which I'm really excited about, and I'm just excited to be a part of it, because I'm just like each and every one of you. I am far from a journalist and a critic, which I am, but I am a fan, and that's how I choose to perceive every video that I upload, because I think about you watching the video on the other side. So because you are watching the video from the other side, from whatever part of the world you're hearing my voice and watching this video, I just want to let you guys know that there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Descendants of Zombies, and I've always and forever wanted to encourage that with every video that I've ever uploaded, because I do believe in Descendants of Zombies having a powerful impact on each and every one of our lives, and leaving a forever imprint on each and every one of our hearts. Regardless of who our favorite character was, some of us like Red, some of us like Mal, some of us like Evie, some of us like Bridget. Whoever our favorite character was, mine undeniably was Bridget, because of just how kind and how sweet she was, because it just wasn't the character. It was all about the person playing the character, and it takes a special kind of person with so many unique qualities to really bring a character to life. And I really do believe that Ruby Rose Turner did a fabulous job, which is why I think she deserves more opportunities, which is why if she wants to be the live-action Rapunzel, for the live-action Tangled, more power to her. I want to encourage that. I want to support Ruby. I would be front and center if Ruby was the live-action Rapunzel for Disney's live-action Tangled. Now, reportedly, production of Tangled has picked up again after Snow White's recent flop in the box office. I was the only YouTuber at the time last March that was saying anything nice about the Snow White live-action. I loved it. I loved being a part of it. The music was great. The story was phenomenal. I think I was the only YouTuber that chose to give that one the benefit of the doubt. Why? It's beyond me. I guess it has everything to do with Rachel Zegler's opinions on everything about life. It seems like Rachel Zegler has an opinion about everything having to do with a person's life. But I get that, because everybody is different. And that's what creates diversity in the world. Diversity sometimes is a really awful thing, because it can really change a person's opinion on life. And I think a lot of people's opinions are taken out of I think a lot of things that Rachel Zegler believed were definitely misinterpreted. So I think that's what creates diversity in this world. Because just think about it like this. If everybody's opinion was the same about Descendants, I mean, the world would be a pretty boring place. So if you're somebody that supports Descendants, that's what makes you so unique. And that's what makes you so fun. And that's what makes this so fun for me hosting this show, is because I know that everybody's opinion is different. And I choose to give you guys the benefit of the doubt because everybody's opinion is different. Some people like Descendants, some people don't. But if you are somebody who does support Descendants, then you have every reason in the world to be proud of yourself and how far this franchise has become, because this franchise has gotten to the position it's in to take over because of how much each and every one of us believe in the franchise. That is what is so amazing about this franchise, is that it encourages us to believe in whatever dream that we have. And I really don't care what your dream is. I just want you to make that dream happen. Because I've always believed that everybody has a light. It's just a matter of how and when you find your light. And if you find your light and you hold on to the belief that that dream can and will happen for you, everybody has a light, and everybody eventually does find that light. I love being here all throughout the year. This YouTube channel is 365, so we don't break. We go right on through. So that means I will be here all throughout the Christmas season, the Thanksgiving in the United States. I will get to spend it with each and every one of you. And throughout the Thanksgiving in the United States and Christmas, we will talk about Descendants and Zombies. I will have a lot of conversation happening about everything happening for Freya, Zombies 5, Descendants 5 with Wonderland. There was a teaser dropped at the Halloween Fest just a couple of nights ago that Freya Sky attended about Zombies 5. She didn't give anything away, but she was asked about mermaids, and she kind of shied away from it because of Disney's restrictions on the contract, not wanting anything leaked. She didn't want to give anything away, but she kind of teased that mermaids will be a part of this one. I don't know how many people believe that mermaids will be a part of Zombies. I think a lot of people, at least 95% of the people who watch this show, would go for that. I think that because of I having an appreciation for mermaids, I would love to see it too. I've lived on this island for forever, and I've had so many legendary tales associated with mermaids, and I've heard thousands of stories about mermaids, hundreds if not thousands of stories about them. So I feel really intrigued about the possibility of mermaids and witches and pirates ending up in this conversation. And I think that if you are somebody who believes that mermaids will happen for Zombies 5, it's just a matter of when, where, and how it will happen. And I'm just really excited to be a part of it, because I really do believe that mermaids can offer a lot of unpredictable moments and a lot of fun times for fans of Descendants of Zombies. Because I'm telling you now, guys, there has never been a more time that's been more apparent to me to become a fan of Descendants of Zombies. And I would love to believe that because of this show, more people are fans of Descendants of Zombies than perhaps ever before. My issue lies with how Kylie Cantrell and Freya Sky have tears in their eyes because of how people feel about them. I've never ever liked criticism, and I've tried to shy away from criticism on the show time and time again for whatever I was talking about, because an opinion should be that, an opinion, and an opinion should remain at just simply being an opinion. Because if you're going to upload a video, what you should upload a video about is just an opinion without criticism, and you can do that. But because people don't look at it that way and don't know how to commentate on Descendants of Zombies and provide you with a commentary, that's what happens. And they get reactions out of fans, they get reactions out of celebrities who end up thinking they're not good enough. I just spoke on Meg Donnelly struggling with panic attacks, anxiety, and necrophobia. I know what it's like, and I would like Meg Donnelly to know that she's not alone, and I think that all your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars have suffered from this in some capacity because of how people may feel about a performance they gave just last night. I know Freya Sky's heading on tour. Tickets went on sale on October 30th. That was 2 days ago. They are selling like rapid fire, and that's exactly what I wanted to see happen for Freya. She's promoting it off FreyaSky.com. Tour dates are already up there on her website, which is a beautiful layout. I love her website so much. And I love talking about Freya, so I can tell you guys in the future there will be a lot of videos uploaded to this YouTube channel about Freya Sky, because I, for one, am incredibly excited about the future of everything having to do with Descendants of Zombies, and I'm incredibly excited to be a part of it with you guys coming along on this incredible journey for me that has given me the honor of producing so many wonderful videos about Descendants of Zombies. Guys, from my heart to yours, seriously, thank you so much, because I could be talking about video games, TV shows, movies, any niche in the world. But if there was one niche that I could pick time and time over again to provide commentaries on, which I know a lot of people can't do that because they don't know the first thing about dropping a commentary about Descendants of Zombies, because when you drop a commentary about Descendants of Zombies, you've not only got to talk about Descendants of Zombies, but you got to tell people why you are a fan of Descendants of Zombies. I just discovered the power of Descendants of Zombies. Little did I know how powerful of a franchise this was going to become and how it was going to go on to touch the hearts of so many wonderful people. But it did, because you had a favorite character, a favorite moment that you forever and always talk about. And honestly, you can't tell me that you wish this franchise wouldn't last forever, because you do wish this franchise would last forever. And that is something that means so much to me, that each and every one of us have a reason for being a Descendants fan. We are here because of Descendants of Zombies, and I have never felt more honored to be in your presence to discuss everything about Descendants of Zombies. So if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you're probably going to want to think about doing that, because I have a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes. Because no matter how many times people try to shut down your hopes and your dreams about this franchise ever becoming a reality, it will become a reality, and because it deserves to become a reality, and you guys deserve to be a part of it. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that Descendants of Zombies goes down in history for being one of the most revered franchises of all time, because that's the way it's meant to be. That's what's got to happen. I'm here to ensure that your favorite Descendants of Zombies stars go down in history for being some of the greatest of all time. Now, that may have to do with everything about me wanting to go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time myself. But the greatest honor of my life has always been to host this show, to always be a part of something spectacular. And I think that Descendants of Zombies, they deserve to be a part of something spectacular, something they will never ever forget. You know, Kylie Contrell said that she's probably going to be singing Descendants of Zombies songs until she is 40 years old. Even if she does, even if that does happen, I think people will still be appreciative of Kylie Contrell, because she's so dedicated. She puts so much heart into everything that she does. And I just want Kylie Contrell to know that she is loved by millions of people who she has inspired. And I have this to say to Kylie Contrell: there is nothing wrong with being a fan of Descendants of Zombies. So I will be back later on this afternoon to talk more about Descendants of Zombies with each and every one of you. I will upload as many podcasts as I can throughout today. We are just coming off of Halloween last night. It was a crazy time, a lot of Halloween parties happening, but as I said, I didn't see as many trick-or-treaters this year, probably the less amount of trick-or-treaters that I have ever seen. Because I remember years ago going on Halloween excursions, and the streets would be full of people. You couldn't get near a house because you had your hot spots where the best treats were handed out. And I remember hundreds of kids in Halloween costumes. Nobody knew who everybody was. And everybody would have their Halloween costumes on, from Earthworm Jim to Power Rangers to Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And, Halloween would be so much fun. And I think that Halloween is really dying out because people are focusing on Halloween parties. And perhaps it has something to do with that. I know Halloween Fest at Disney World was an amazing time. The Descendants stars were a part of it. And I must say the costumes of people like Freya Sky and Kylie Contrell were absolutely fabulous. I fell in love with Freya Sky's adaptation of Tinkerbell because I've seen many of them over the years. But I mean, I think that the more love and support that we can show for a person like Freya Sky, the better off she's going to be, because she's a superstar in the making and potentially the next Taylor Swift or Ariana Grande. I will have more to say on that later on today. Congratulations to Freya Sky for coming as far as she has. I'm really excited about her future because it's undeniable that Freya Sky is going to be one of the greatest of all time. I think, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande end up in conversations way too much. Sabrina Carpenter is another name that I can drop because I think that it's always about Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and you're all the time talked about celebrity. So I think that the spotlight needs to be on your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars a little bit more, and I think we can make that happen. So I will be back later on today with more conversation to throw your way about Descendants of Zombies, which you can join me for. We'll talk about your predictions that you've been making about mermaids, pirates, and witches showing up in the conversation. Little did I know Descendants of Zombies would go on to have such a profound impact on my heart and really change my life for the better, because I not only got to talk about Descendants of Zombies on this show, but I got to meet each and every one of you, which became the greatest honor of my life, and I can't seem to thank you guys enough for it. Thank you for everybody who have subscribed to this YouTube channel. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life, and thank you for allowing me to become your voice of Descendants of Zombies. Guys, life is that much sweeter when we show kindness to people in our lifetime, even when we least expect it, because all we have to do for the foreseeable future is stay calm and zombie on. Guys, thank you so much for watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. In the archives, you will find hundreds of videos about Descendants of Zombies, and it's my honor to upload these videos for you guys. Be kind to everybody, ladies and gentlemen, because kindness really does go a long way in this world. We will talk again about Descendants of Zombies in just a few hours from now. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to be part of each and every one of your lives.